Right, good evening all, and welcome to the start of Season 3 for TSL Tier 1. Get everything up and running, then we'll go through the driver lineup because we've all changed teams. Now we've come to a brand new season. Keep the telemetry on. Full track. Who we got going out first? So we have got a Haas of Swifts going out first. So we'll sit with him as we ride on board and go round. We've got a full grid tonight. We've got 20 all racing. I think George is just disconnected there, but he'll be back in a second. So as we watch Swift go down, we will just run for the driver lineup. So we've got the two Ferraris this season, which are Snipes and Magician. Last year they were both at Alpine, so they decided to stick together. So they're both driving for Ferrari. We then have actually, let me go to Discord and do it through Discord because it'll be easier than trying to run down the grid. We then have Simon and Colin, who are together in the Mercedes. We then have Bunny's Vengeance and Mantis, who are both in the McLaren. We have Scornful and Mo, who are both in the Red Bulls. Joker and Boogie Slime are in the Williams. Smug Git and T7 Angel are in Aston Martin. Matt's Bloom and George in the Alpine. Jacob and Wavy in the AlphaTauri. Kinkali and Kiwi is in the Alfa Romeo, but Kiwi has not confirmed today, so instead Nate Lewis is currently the highest in Tier 2 in terms of drivers that can actually race tonight. So the way we work it is in Tier 2. If a driver from Tier 1 is unable to make it, then someone will come in from Tier 2 and they'll go down the grid. Now the top 4 drivers are unable to make it because of other commitments and me because I'm streaming, so Nate is the next available option, so he's taken that place, and that's how we'll run throughout the season. So if any Tier 1 driver is unable to make it, we will look to fill that seat with a the highest Tier 2 driver basically. So you'll see different names pop up from time to time if other drivers are unable to make it. So Kiwi is the seat for Alfa Romeo, but like I said, he's been unresponsive. And then finally that leaves the Haas, which is Swifts and SRS Darkstorm. SRS Darkstorm raced with us in Tier 1, in Tier 2, sorry, for the first time, and due to the fact that he's a clean racer and was a willing runner, he has been given the Tier 1 seat and has been removed from Tier 2 and put in Tier 1 instead. Oh, as we see Swifts come off, he's managed to save it. He's in a bit of a dangerous position, so he wants to get out of the way. But we see him come off, so then I think it's a Ferrari that's coming around next. Oh no, it's an Alfa Romeo. So we will go to Nate, who's going to be the first person to set a time. 2 more corners, turn 14, turn 15. It's not a fantastic time, to be honest, at 127. 128.6. That's going to be, he's going to need to better that one. 127.1. Oh, to be fair, I think loads of people are going to come. Let's get the times back up. Most of the times in. Right, let's quickly pick someone who's going to be coming round. We'll run on board with Boogie. Boogie. So we do, same as before, we do 3 qualifying sessions. So we do Q1, Q2, Q3. As he comes around the final 2 corners, what's his time going to be? Swifts is going to have to... Swifts, Smug, Nate. He comes into the pits, I wasn't even watching it. I'll quickly follow Joe because he crosses the line. And he crosses the line with a 128.1, so he'll want to better that as well. I would have thought most time of a 127.8. I would have thought that's probably going to be the cut-off point. So any drivers that aren't in the 127s, they will probably be drivers that will look to... that will probably end up losing from the race. We'll run on board with Mansis now. From McLaren, because he's out. He's probably the only driver. Yeah, he is the only driver that's going to come across and set a time. Everybody else will probably be returning to the pits, recharge their ERS, and then they'll be coming out on a new set of, or possibly on a new set of softs, as Mansis just does a fastest sector 2. So should be a good time here. No surprise to see Snipes and Magician leading the way in Q1. As we have yellow flags in Who's that going slow? Oh, as Marcy spins on the last corner. Spins on that last corner. Very unusual place to spin. Not seen many people doing that. He's going to now try and come round. Oh, he's going to come round into... He's got two cars coming across. No, to be fair, he does well there. Stays out of the way of everybody. So we'll ride on board with Scorn. Scorn's still not put a time across. As you can see, a couple of other drivers stick a time in. So we've got... What's the cut-off point at the moment? So who are we on? We are probably on... We're looking at Darkstorm. It's probably the cut-off point now. So any drivers in a 128 is going to want to go out there and put another lap in. We had the Tier 2 race that was done on Monday. It was a great success. That's going to continue. On Mondays it's going to be streamed on the TSL Twitch. We had Magician streaming that for us. He'll be commentating. He's not doing this Monday. He's got other commitments, so we'll have someone else come in and fill that seat, but he's going to do it on a regular basis for us. It was a great commentary from him. So, as Marcis has now just been disqualified. What's he been disqualified for? Missed that. Scorn does a 128.0, dead. He was quicker than that. He was quicker than that in Tier 2, so he won't be happy with that time. Jacob on a 128.2 as well. He's actually said that he's not the quickest around here. And to be fair, he's on mediums as well. But he said that this track for him isn't a great track. But if he's coming around, I think he's just on his lap now. So trying to see what he can do with these mediums. Try and save himself some tyres for Q2 and Q3. Might mean that he's going to be starting on the softs going into Q2. If that's the case, that will... Oh, as he spins! Going around into turn 2's turn 3, he spins and collides with the bollard there. Jacob. We have to wait now, wait for everyone to get round. We'll ride on board with Mats Bloom because he needs to improve his time if he's to go through. Really weird now is looking at people's names and seeing them driving for different teams. I keep looking for specific drivers from their colour, but they're riding for different teams now, so we'll get used to it over the course of the season, no doubt. Like Mats Bloom comes across the line. What time? It was a 127.8. So that puts him up into 11th. So, like I said, at the moment, it still seems to me like SRS. I was going to say DRS then. SRS looks like he might be the cut-off point at the moment. That 128.0 looks like that time is going to be the cut-off point. So you've got Scorn, who most likely will go quicker than that. Jacob, who definitely can go quicker than that. Mansis is out, one of the quicker drivers here. So McLaren aren't going to be happy with a 20, and he's disqualified as well. So he will be at the back of the grid. Boogie still not set a time out, so I don't know if he's going for a single lap. I think he's out there now. Or is he in the pits? Oh no, he's just gone across the line. There you go, the 127.9. So he's just over what I believe will be the cut-off time. He's down board with Darkstorm as he comes across. Turn 13. Round turn 13. Keeps it clean. Or yellow sectors where there's slow moving cars, just getting out of the way of other drivers, so ignore the yellow plates. He's going to come across and then he's going to... What's he going to do? What is his time going to be? I don't think it's going to be any better. No, it's not. He's come straight into the pits because he's lost loads of time. Right, let's ride on board with Nate. He's just coming into sector... Oh, he's just invalidated. We'll come off of you. Sorry to jinx it. Right, George is also invalidated, but we'll stay with him because he might then go straight onto a lap. So we'll stick with him for now, see what he does. Yep, he's going on to a lap, so we'll stick with George. George got to put in a good time here to get through. To turn 1. Be careful on that throttle when you come out of turn 1. Go into turn 2. Turn 2 and turn 3 should be flat. All depends on the traction that you get out of turn 1. We're going to keep the telemetry on for qualifying, but we're going to turn the telemetry off for the race itself. Comes into sector 2. It's looking good. Looks like he's definitely going to improve his time of a 128.7 that he's got at the moment. Oh, he gets a bit scribbly there, but he's managed to save it. He's managed to keep it. Come around the two toughest corners of this track. It's that apex nice on the throttle, nice and early. His teammate ahead of him. Hopefully that's not going to slow him down. I think he is also putting a time in. Yeah, so he shouldn't slow him down too much. Come on, George, what can you do? He comes out of sector 2. I don't think he's going to be any better off. I think he's 7 tenths. Sector 2 was slow, so he's got to make up 7 tenths. We're going to come off of him because I don't think he's going to slow down and go again. So we're right on board. To be fair, Jacob's got to go around the whole track, so we won't stay with him. I think Wavy's close. Just going to ride on. Yeah, we're right on board with the people that are. As Nate spun off. All of these drivers that are currently on a 128 coming into Tier 2, I'm sure that these were the tier, apart from Jacob, you had Darkstorm, Smudgit, Nate, George, all for Tier 2. They all put in a quicker lap in Tier 2 than 128. We're right on board with Jacobs. I don't think anybody else is actually, oh, to be fair, Scornful's coming around, so we're right on board with Scorn. Yeah, he's going slow, he's going into the pits, so never mind. Well, we'll sit on board with Simon, see what Simon can do, see if he can get a quicker time than what he's got at the moment. He's on a lap. Just to see what he comes as he darts into the pits. Cheers, guys. T7 Angels coming into the pits. So we'll stick on board with Jacob now because he's going to start his lap. And again, he stayed on the medium, so this must mean that come Q2 he's going to be using them softs. He kept it a lot better through there. Oh, you see that back end go. As he went on the throttle there, he got on that throttle too early and he tried to step away from him. He managed to catch it. The old Scandinavian flick. It would make Colin proud, our WRC expert. It didn't invalidate, no. Didn't invalidate his time. Kept it managed. Oh, he locks up that front right tyre there as he comes round. What does he do here? Keeps that nice, takes that corner nice, on the throttle, nice and early. Didn't lose any time through that bit, so that's a corner where a lot of drivers will lose time. Take that nice and wide, then boom, turn it right in. He's got two Haas in front of him. I don't think they're going to affect his time. They seem to be. Yeah, no, they're not going to affect his time. They're all right. He's still down. He's down by a tenth. He's got to make a tenth up in these last two corners. What's he going to do? What's he going to do? 28.2. It's a tenth slower. Exactly a tenth slower. We'll stay on board with Jacob because at the moment he's on that cut-off period and he's going to go. He's on the medium, so we're going to stay on board with Jacob. If Jacob goes out in this, as an AlphaTauri there was wide. I think he might have just been given way. I think he was just given way. Giving way for his teammates at Wavy there, letting Jacob through. Jacob is seriously lacking pace. Seems to be struggling. Just doesn't. I mean, again, he is on the medium, so he is going to be slower on the mediums. The soft is the quicker tyre, but to see Jacob down here in 16th, I mean, Jacob's normally putting a P1, P2, P3 time in on mediums and compared to people that have got softs. So this is not going to bode well for AlphaTauri and for Jacob. He has said that this is one of the tracks that he does actually really struggle with. But a lot of drivers say that and then go and win the race. Two more corners. Just check the chat as well. Mansis has just said that he got disqualified for trying to get back onto the track. What's he going to do here? What's he going to do? Come on, Jacob. Oh, he goes quicker. 128. 128.0. Wavy has crashed in sector 1. So he's on the cusp at the moment. Is Jacob. He's on the cusp. We have now got Smug, George, Nate, and SRS. I keep going to say DRS. SR. I might just call them DRS. Oh no, just Darkstorm. There you go, Darkstorm and Darkstorm. We've now got to try and better Jacob's time. So we'll ride on board with Darkstorm, and then when Smug and Nate come out, we'll ride on board with them. Give George a bit of time as well. George with a very disappointing 1:28.7. He's definitely quicker than that, so he's obviously struggling somewhere. Look at that camera angle. Funny, you look through all of them times that they've got there, it's a tenth, a tenth, a tenth, a tenth, a tenth, a tenth. So they're close. Oh, who's he got in front of him? He's got an Alpine in front of him, who gets out of the way. Very respectful there. So we've had Syme, Bunnies and Squiffs all retire because they're happy with their times, and the 1:27s, you're fine with the 1:27. Shouldn't be a problem. Darkstorm comes across. Kincaid's also now decided to retire. Oh, so he's slow. He's too slow. He's going to have to come back round again. That's way off the... George comes into the pit. So we're going to have a dart, I would have thought. We're going to have... Is he going to have enough time? In fact, I don't know if George is going to have enough time to come into the pits, change his tyre, and then come back out. I would have thought Nate and Smug both would be leaving the pits shortly. Time. We've got Darkstorm who's staying out on those softs. Going to be a couple of laps old now. But then it is only Q1, so... Boogie's invalidated. We've got Mats Bloom, who I'm sure his time's safe, but we'll ride on board. There you go. So Nate's now coming out. Nate is on an out lap. So then does that mean? Yeah. So to be fair, he's coming out, but I don't think that's going to... At 1 minute, he's not going to make that. He's not got enough time to make that round. So Smug Git, Nate, George have all decided that that's it for them. Oh, and Joker's backed out there, so we'll come off Joker. Darkstorm is invalidated, so Darkstorm, we're going to ride on by with Oh, he's ain't got a wing, so there you go. That's it then. It's done. So now it's just going to be for pride. Everybody could just come in and retire. So we'll sit on board. We'll sit on board. Oh, okay. So the two Williams are going to go again. So we'll ride on board with Boogie and Joker, who appear to be giving each other a bit of a slipstream. Although Boogie's just pulled out of the way, so we'll ride on board with Joker. Watch Joker do a lap. It's sealed who's gone out, so we'll just ride on board with Joker so that we've got something to look at rather than staring at someone who's in the pits. See if Joker can better his time of a 1:27.7. If you want a bit of an excellent bit of commentary while watching a quali lap, then please go and watch the TSL Tier 2 race for Bahrain, where Magician gives an exceptional commentary as he follows Joker's lapping the McLaren for Tier 2. Come on, Joker. 1:27.7. What can he do? He's kept it. Last two. He's on old tyres, so don't expect miracles. And then we'll switch to Mats Bloom. See what Matt can do. It's not bad this time. 1:27.7. Mats Bloom coming around last two corners, and I think this is the last driver to come across the grid because Boogie's given up. Oh, we've got George as well, actually. We have got George. Mats Bloom doesn't improve. On board with Georgie, who's 2 seconds down. Don't know if this is one of those moments where the game... In fact, I think, once again, this is one of those moments where quali has ended and George still thinks he's got laps, so he's done that on purpose. He has done that on purpose because I think he's seen what's happened, so he's going to just pull over and retire, he says, and then gets made to look a fool when that doesn't happen. Maybe he hasn't seen it then. Maybe he hasn't seen it. So we've said it before, this is one of those moments where the game has finished, but George got lost connection early on in the first couple of minutes of Q1, so he then rejoined, so the game kind of goes a bit silly, and those couple of minutes that he got disconnected, it adds them on for him. So even though the quali session has finished, he will still be on his time, it will still be going. So he thinks all these people going around now are on a lap, so he needs to have a look at the Discord chat, and then from there he'll know what's going on. I did have a bit of a chat with some of the drivers before the race. Had a couple of messages with them prior to the Bahrain Grand Prix. So while we've got nothing going on and we're sort of waiting, I'll reveal what was said and what their response was. So I spoke to Magician and Snipes of Ferrari. I spoke to the two McLarens, Mansis and Bunnies. I spoke to Mo ahead of his home Grand Prix, who's up there in 5th currently of Q1, so he's putting a good time there, 1:27.2. That'd be quite a good time, to be honest, as well. So if he can put that in for Q3, then he'll be looking at finishing quite high. Magician's 1:27.6 and Snipes 1:26.7 is just, it's fantastic from them. But this is one of those tracks where you can qualify on the front, but actually sometimes being in P2, because of, as long as you can follow that car in front, because the DRS is powerful and there's 3 DRS zones on this track, sometimes it pays off to not be starting first. Although you don't obviously get DRS to start with for the first 3 laps. But anyway, so Magician. So I asked him, following his triumph last year, he's considered the favourite to retain his title. Does he consider that to be an advantage or a disadvantage, and why? So he said that he thought that it was a disadvantage, and it was because at the end of last season, at the start of last season, he was quicker and he was more consistent. But now he's changed to a wheel. He said that it's sort of become, most races he's having a spin or having a bit of a crash, excuse me, or an incident. So he said hopefully progressing through this season, and obviously getting more used to the wheel and stuff, hopefully that will, he'll get used to that and progress. But he thinks that because where he sort of had done so well to start with, maybe he's not going to be as good, although he has done a 1:27.6, so I mean, come on, man. Then moved on and said that him and Snipes are staying as teammates for this season. They both seem to have a good relationship last year, and obviously they stormed to the constructors' titles in the Alpine. Was he happy? Excuse me again. Was he happy to remain teammates with Snipes, and also who does he think is going to be his biggest competitor this year, as in for the drivers and for the constructors? His response was that he thought that if they can both maintain the form from last season, then they've got a really good shot, and that actually working together they worked really well. He thinks that the grid this season is incredibly competitive, and there'll be multiple threats for both the drivers and the constructor season, but he can't pick any team out. He said that he thinks that all the teams have all got quality drivers, and that it's going to be a tough year for him to retain the title. And then he said that also he's going to make sure that him and Snipes work hard to obtain the goal of winning the constructors or the drivers, and would also be happy if the drivers was won by Snipes. But his goal is definitely to win the drivers championship. And then lastly, I said, what does he think that the Ferraris can achieve on Thursday night? He said it's not one of his strongest tracks, especially on the wheel, and he's not going to have as much time to practice as he was like. But he's hoping that they can get a top 5 at the top 5 minimum, and that hopefully Snipes can challenge for the win, because he feels like Snipes might have a better chance than he will at this circuit. So we'll move on to some of the other drivers. In fact, because we're on an out lap. We'll follow Mo, as it's his home Grand Prix, racing for Red Bull. We'll sit with Mo and watch him come around to make the first lap. What we will do though is we'll go and see what tyres everybody's on. Yeah, we'll just go through them as we go. We'll ride on board with Mo. So then I spoke to his teammate Snipe straight after that, and asked him some similar questions. So I said, how do you feel about maintaining a teammate such as Magician, You seem to have a great relationship last year, and Snipes was nothing but full of praise for Magician. He said, yes, he's a great teammate. We work really well together. I couldn't have wished for a better teammate, and I think that we have a very good chance to become the Constructors' Champion again. I hope to become the Driver Champion myself, but it will be difficult. Maybe impossible because he's so fast. So a lot of love between the Ferrari guys. Told them to get a room. Second question I asked him was, so if there was a battle for P1 in the driver standings between yourself and Magician, do you think that that may sour your relationship? And do you think that perhaps you could turn into a Rosberg-Hamilton sort of situation where they were teammates but major rivals? Or would they become more like Hamilton and Bottas, where one driver is clearly the favourite and the other one is kind of the dog man, if you like? And his response was that he didn't think that they would turn into the Hamilton and Rosberg, but obviously they don't know until you get to that situation. He also said that there's no way that he'll become Bottas and just let Magician pass. He wouldn't fight him, but he wouldn't just let him pass and just kind of go with that. Oh, there you go, Magician, you can win this one. And he also said he doesn't think Magician would expect that from him anyway. So that was fair enough. And then he also said that if there were to be a crash between them due to fighting for P1, that they are mature enough to sit down, work it out, and not to have them turn them into complete arseholes. And then the last question I asked him before we then go back to the laps, and I'll forget this for a while, is there any constructor or any driver that you see as being your biggest challenges this year, as there are many good driver lineups? He said that he thinks that the Mercedes and the McLaren look very strong this year, and he actually thinks that they're going to be his biggest challenges this year, but he's firmly looking forward to it. So I then went on to ask the McLarens, but we'll push on to that in a minute when we've got some dead air. So we'll watch Mo come round and see what time Mo can do. So as you can see, we've got, it's Mo, we catch Mo on the spin, and he takes front wing damage there as well. So Mo's going to be coming straight into that pit. We'll ride on board with Squiffs, who's just done a purple sector 2, but he is only the third driver, I believe, to come across. No, the first driver actually. Oh, Mo's had to retire. Mo has had to retire. Fortunately for Mo, his qualifying session has ended, and it has ended with a wall. Mo. Home Grand Prix. The home fans will not be happy with that. We'll sit on board with Bunnies, as he was the one that we watched to see what had happened to Mo. Didn't think that was a retirement though. I thought it just looked like he took a little bit of front wing damage, but maybe there was more to it than I could see. Jacob there with the 127 dead. With the softs, that's a bit better from Jacob. We will now ride on board with Snipes as he's on the softs coming round. 128.4. He's obviously had a bit of a moment there. I wonder if those yellow flags actually affected him. T7 Angel there with a sector purple sector 2. 2 and blue Ryan, that's where I was going wrong with. That Astimine colour does look nice, doesn't it, that green, especially in the Bahrain night sky. T7 Angel, another quick driver, goes 127.8, so it puts him sick for the moment on the mediums. So remember, whatever tyre the drivers put their quickest time in, that will be what the tyre that they have to start in if they go through to Q3. So this is where strategy comes into play. So you can already see that Squiffs, Jacob, Joker, Bunnies, Snipes. Joker's now retired. 127.2 is his time, and he has had to retire. For some reason it's put him down in 10th, even though Scorn hasn't set a lap. Fortunately for Joker, that time... To be fair, that's not a bad time actually. That's not a bad time, so we'll see what happens with that one. Sorry, we just saw Colin there go 127.0. So currently Joker is still through, so Joker doesn't need to fret too much at the moment. But yeah, so that'll just keep changing as drivers come. You'll stay 10th unless you go out of 10th. We'll stay on board with Mats Bloom. Yeah, it doesn't matter. 10th still sees you through, so it'll be fine. As long as no one puts quicker times in than you. So yeah, we've got Jacob, Squiff, Colin, Bunnies, Snipes and Joker all gone on the softs, whereas the other drivers all went on the medium. So what this will probably mean is, where some of the quicker drivers have gone on the softs, this might mean that other people will just kind of go, right, we'll do a lap in the medium, we'll do 2 laps in the mediums, and then they'll say, right, we're going to come in and just do a last lap or maybe even last 2 laps on the softs. If you can get in the top 10, here he goes, Matt's Bloom does 1.3. Oh, so apparently Mo, as is in the Discord, Mo got hit by Boogie. Okay, so that means that then when Mo spun and we come away from him, so just quickly try and find someone to ride on board with. Colin, I think's coming in. We'll ride on board with T7 Angel because he's on the medium, so he's probably going to go again. So yeah, so as Mo spun, he's hit the wall with his front wing. Boogie's come around the corner, lost control himself. I don't know if that's when Mo was joining the track or if it was just when Mo was sitting at the side of the track, but that spun that Boogie's had has then retired Mo, but not retired Boogie, so we'll see if that gets put in an incident clip. But Mo has accepted Boogie's apology, so that's always good to see. But unfortunately that does mean that he'll start 15th in his home Grand Prix. That's not a great place to be, especially not in Bahrain. Just open yourself up to being caught up in incidents. Right, anyway, so T7 Angel come around turn 14 and turn 15. Round, what time is he going to do? 27.5. What we'll do actually is, I've taken the telemetry off, so we'll put the telemetry back on. So that still sees Joker going through. So that 127.2 that Joker's put in, I think, that might be enough. That might be enough. Scorn on an outlap, who's just starting. No, he's come into the pits. Boogie's invalidated, so we'll stay on board with Boogie because he's on the medium. So I think Boogie's going to come round, and then he'll then start his lap. So we'll ride on board with Boogie's because he's now out. And then also for everybody that's watching, what we're going to do today is if you guys can write in the chat, please, after the race, who you think deserves to be the driver of the day. So we'll take all of your votes for driver of the day at the end of the race, and then that will be announced on the Discord chat to all the drivers. Boogie there as he starts sector 2. 28.4 there, time for a sector 1. He's not set a time yet, so it won't tell us if he's gone faster. He's got a slow move in. No, the car in front of him looks to be okay. It's the Alfa Romeo, I believe, of King Cayley. Yeah, it definitely is the Alfa Romeo of King Cayley. He goes, moves out of the way nicely there, so well done. Boogie has just gone purple in sector 2 on mediums. He's gone purple in sector 2 with mediums. So if he's had a good sector 1, and if he can put in a really good time here, that bodes well for him because he'll start on the mediums if he can get through. Purple sector 2 on mediums is fantastic. What time does he do? Oh, but his time is 128.8. But he had a purple sector 2, so that must have meant that sector 1 and sector 3 lost out massively. Either that or it was the game going silly. The game can have moments, so. Right, let's see who else we've got. So we've got Syme, who is on a lap. We'll ride on board with Syme. Joker at the moment looks well and truly safe, because that time that he's put in sees him 5th at the moment. Snipes is also on an outlap. Several drivers in the pit at the moment. Simon also gets the purple sector 2. Not sure how he's sector 1. We'll see as he comes around the last 2 corners, turn 14, turn 15. What's he going to do? And he goes across the line with a 126.7 to take that P1. For Q2. So that time is strong enough to see him through. So all these medium runners now are going to want to come in get on the soft. So we'll ride on board with Scorn as now Scorn comes and starts his lap. We've got a slow sector 1, slow sector 2 and a slow sector 3. That's just drivers just warming up their tyres and starting. We've got Mats Bloom who seems to be having troubles. He's got 4 laps worth of medium. I think he needs to come in and change his tyres. 28.8 for him and for Boogie. Who just goes... Someone's just made it into the top 10. Not sure who that was. It was King Cayley actually, I think. He's just taking Snipes' position away from him. We'll stay on board with Scorn. Middle section of sector 2, two very difficult corners there, turn 9 and turn 10. It's his first lap out on the softs, or on these softs. He hasn't put a time out yet either, so he has been out, but he's obviously decided that when he's been out decided to back out of it and come into the pit, so I think this is going to be his one and only lap, because I don't think he's going to have that, as he goes purple in sector 2 as well there, Scorn. Don't think he's going to have enough time to set a lap, come round, get in the pit. In fact, I know he's not. There's no way he's going to have enough time. So this is going to be his one and only lap. So Scorn needs to make it in the top 10 with this. 127.5 currently looks as if it's going to be the cut-off point. So what does he do? He does a 127.5. So he looks to be bang on that cut-off point. So we've got Magician still in the pits, but Magician will come out and will go out at the last possible moment. We have got Wavy, who's on an out lap. We won't sit with him. We're going to sit with Snipes, actually, because Snipes has just come across and gone P1. 126.4. He's 3 tenths. Well, he's actually technically 4 tenths quicker than Simon on those softs. I'll tell you what, Snipes and Magician this season, they are going to be a force. As Wavy, he's on an out lap, to be honest, so it doesn't matter if he's invalidated. As long as he doesn't invalidate the last 2 corners, that's what will cause him discomfort, because then that means his lap will be gone. As the number 69. Well done. Oh, to be fair, Scorn has actually stayed out, so has he stayed out to put another lap in, or is he? Mats Bloom's retired, so Mats Bloom has decided that he's not going to get enough time to come round. So Mats Bloom is out, Mo's out. And we've currently got 3 drivers currently sitting in an out position, which is Magician, Wavy and Boogie. And Scorn has also just put in the purple sector 2. So he knew that 127.5 wasn't good enough. But he's got 0 laps on those tyres. 127.2, okay, perfect. So he's still slower than Joker, so it looks to me like Joker is through with only 1 lap. So he'll be chuffed to bits with that. So we've got Magician, Wavy. We'll sit on board with Wavy actually, because Wavy has started a lap. Scorn is now going to be done. I don't think that 127.2 is going to be enough for him. Yeah, Magician's coming around to start a lap, but we're right on board with Wavy. We know Magician's got a quick time in him. Wavy and Boogie. Boogie's staying in the pits. So Boogie's not come out, so he's going to be 13th. So we have currently 1 Williams going through. I think, yeah, we've got Bunnies, T7 Angel, Magician and Wavy. So that's 4 drivers that are currently looking to put in a lap. So we will ride on board. And we'll try and chop down as we can, and hopefully I'll catch all of their times across the line. As Wavy just goes purple in sector 2. Everyone seems to be going purple in sector 2. Must be the track temperature. It must be the fact that the later you leave it, the better the track for the driver. So as he takes too much curb for turn 14, 15. But what does he do? His time is, as he comes across the line, a 126.9. Fantastic lap. Fantastic lap. So we'll go with Magician, and then we will go with Bunnies, and then we'll go with T7 Angel, and that will be qualifying done. So what is Magician sitting at as he goes sector 2, and obviously he goes purple. We'll quickly go to Bunnies and see if Bunnies does a purple. He does not do a purple. What about T7? Does T7 do a purple? As we'll then ride with Magician straight after. T7 does not go purple, so Magician's invalidated. Magician is out of Q2. He is out of Q2. Bunnies comes across the line. What can Bunnies do with his time? It looks like a quick time. 1:27 dead. Let's go to T7 Angel as T7 Angel comes across the line. T7 Angel is looking in trouble. Is he made it through? He has with a 1:27.0. So that sees Scorn drop out. That sees Boogie, who we knew was out, and Magician, who we also knew that was out. So Bunnies, T7 Angel left it late, but they made it. Joker put one lap in. One lap. And that time would have seen him. To be fair, that time would have seen him in the position that he's in, actually, so very lucky with that. So Scorn has lost out. Magician has lost out to Joker because of that brilliant lap that he put in before he decided to retire in the wall. Although it's saying that Joker's not going to make it, so that might mean that Joker is out then. Yeah, but other people have retired in Q1 and then still been able to race in Q2. Okay, well there you go. So there's going to be 9 cars. There you go, 9 cars racing. Joker still takes P10. It's just a shame that Joker won't be able to race. That's a good time as well from Joker there, 1:27.2. So that means then for the top 9 shootout is we have 2 Mercedes, we have 2 AlphaTauri, we have 1 Haas, 1 McLaren, 1 Aston Martin and 1 Alfa Romeo. So Snipes, Syme, Jacob, Squiff, Wavy, Bunnies, Colin, T7 Angel and King Cayley are the drivers that are going to be fighting for pole position. That means that every other driver will get free tyre choice. Right, as we've got some spare time now, we'll then move on to the questions that I asked the McLarens. So I started with Bunnies, and also Bunnies and Mansis, 2 other drivers who have a lot of respect for their teammates. So I asked Bunnies, we'll start with. I said, your battle for second place went right to the wire with Syme, but the momentum was with you. Does that favour you going into the start of Season 3? And his response was, it was a close battle, but it never really made it on track too often. It was just in the results mostly. I do not believe... Sorry, got cut off there. Where was I? It never made it on track too often. I do not believe me to be the second fastest driver, especially with the latest additions in the season. I fully expect to drop back. Plus I've adopted to the new cars quicker than most people did at the start of the season, which gave me a small boost, but unfortunately for me that advantage has now gone. My next question to him was, last season you won the Bahrain Grand Prix, so he won the Season 2 Bahrain Grand Prix in Tier 1. So do you think that gives you an advantage over other drivers? And his response was, it was all dumb luck, and I did win it on a technicality. I wasn't there for that race, so I don't know what the technicality was. I didn't have good pace on that track last season, but I just seemed to have the best strategy with a good couple of safety car restarts, and the amount of safety cars that we did have in that race is the reason that I was able to win. Question 3 that I put to him was, your teammate this season is Mansis, and some are saying that you are the driver lineup to challenge for the current constructors. Do you see that as being an advantage or a disadvantage? I don't think any constructor... Sorry, this was Bunny's response. I don't think any constructor will challenge the might of the Ferraris this season. They have, in my opinion, the strongest pairing on the grid, though I do expect a close battle with a few other teams. I have a strong teammate this year who I've had some good battles with, so I hope to see McLaren back on the top, and I wish my fellow Irish lad luck in his new Williams team. So my final question to him was... You've mentioned your old teammate. You scored the majority of points for AlphaTauri, and become the #1 driver. But despite that, you had a good relationship with Boogie. Are you disappointed not to be together, or are you glad that you now have a teammate that can help you score consistent points and isn't relying on you? Some are saying last year you had it easy, and this year we'll see if you have truly got what it takes to take the pressure from your team. Bunnies then said, I've raced with Mansis a few times, and I think he might have the edge over me, especially with not getting penalties. That's something that I need to work on myself, but it should be a close battle. I did want to drive with Boogie again, as I didn't want to separate the two Irish lads, but I wanted the McLaren seat desperately, as it's my dream seat to be at McLaren, and it was a near guarantee that someone else would get in there, unfortunately, before him. In terms of me being the number one driver, I still think that was Boogie. This was my first proper season in the league, and I was joining Boogie's team. I was never there to take over. So a great lot of respect there between Mantis, for Bunny for his old teammate and for his new teammate. I then did speak to Mantis, but we'll go to that either later or during the race if we get a safety car. Colin is currently, I don't know if that's, oh no, okay, so that's why there's obviously been an issue with his car, the fact that he got kicked out. So again, Colin has now just joined the session, so this might be one of those situations where actually he, that is not fair for Colin. That is not fair. So Colin is disqualified, and I don't think that was through any fault of his own at all there. He was parked and he kicked him out, and for some strange reason his car was just sitting in the middle of the track. Right, we'll run on board with Scriffs. He's the person who's going to make the first lap, so unfortunately for Colin, he's disqualified from the session, so we're going to have the top 8 battling for position. This is going to be an epic battle for P1, P2 and for P3. Like I said, P1 isn't always the biggest advantage. Sometimes being P2 or even P3 can actually be more beneficial, but yeah, unfortunately Colin is going to be, he won't be happy with that. That's unfortunate for him. Also unfortunate for Joker as well, who could have been fighting in the top 10 and would have almost been guaranteed a P9. So with obviously what's happened to Colin, so just going off of what Bunny said there, so obviously last year they had a lot of safety cars. The tier 2 race we had a couple of safety cars, so this track it's not guaranteed safety cars. However, the likelihood is that we may see a couple of safety cars there. Okay, Snipes is currently put in a purple sector 1 out of the drivers on track. It is obviously early days, so that potentially may change as we are watching Squiff come across the line. Then we will skip to Simon and Mercedes, because he'll be the next to come across the line. A 1:27 dead is from Squiffs, not a bad time there. Not bad time at all on the softs. So we're going to see Simon come across. Turn 14, turn 15, comes across. Colin's disqualified car there was blocking the way as he goes 1:26.9 crosses the line. We'll quickly see if we can chuck on board with the Aston Martin. If T70 now takes provisional pole with the 1:27. We've got an Alpha coming across the line. We'll try and get across him as we can. 1:26.5. Every time we're going on to someone, they're taking pole, provisional pole. So we're riding aboard with the Ferrari of Snipes, who's got to put an awesome time in it to beat, as he does, 1:26.4. So at the moment, it seems that everybody that crosses that line, Wavy goes on 1:27.7. Unfortunately, Wavy was the one who ballsed it all up. Every driver that was coming across the line was doing a quicker time. That might be track evolution. We'll ride on board with King Cayley as he's just coming around on his out lap, so he'll be starting his lap now. We'll ride on board with him and see what he can do. Bunnies is then also on an out lap, but he's getting out of the way currently for the Ferrari of Snipes at turn 4, working his way through turn 5, turn 6 now. Snipes has apparently just put in a best sector 1, purple sector 1, but we'll stay with King Cayley now because he's on his lap, driver number 99. The other drivers might all be going on a lap, so if they have gone on another lap, sorry for not getting that, but this will be King Cayley's first lap being Q3, and most drivers will probably come straight into the pits, I would have thought. If Snipes has got a purple sector 1, he might be pushing it again. Snipes has just done a purple sector 2 as well, so it looks like he's going to beat his current time of a 1:26.4. Sorry, we're going to really quickly just go to Snipes and see him come across that line, because it does look as if he's going to be going quicker. So 1:26.4 is the quickest time that we've currently got, and it looks like he's going to beat that. He's done a 1:26.2, fantastic time. That is going to be a time to beat. King Cayley comes down the back, not the back straight, that's sector 2. He's coming down the long straight in sector 3. Turn 14, 15. Alpha Romeo in front of him, who's going to go on a lap. And King Cayley crosses the line to go 5th with a 1:27 dead. We've now got Bunnies who's on a lap, so we'll ride on board with Bunnies in the McLaren. He's got a slow-moving Snipes in front of him, so hopefully Snipes, as he is, he's a very respectful driver, so hopefully Snipes move out of the way he does, he keeps that nice and wide. Keeps that nice and wide, so there's no dramas there with that. Wasn't a purple sector though from Bunnies there, so be quick, but he's not going to be. Comes down the back straight of sector 2. What's he do? Does he get a purple sector 2? Oh, he doesn't. He gets a bit squirrely as well. He hasn't invalidated, so he'll probably come in and. Would have thought he'll chuck this lap in just so he's got a lap on the board, but he got squirrely there, and that's going to have slowed him down massively. Still looks like he's going flat out, so it still looks like he's trying to. He's definitely still going for it. I think he's still going to chuck the lap in. No, he comes straight into the pit, so he's going to abandon that lap. We've got Wavy and King Cayley. I think Wavy's going to come into the pits, and I would have thought King Cayley's probably going to come in as well. In fact, King Cayley's just invalidated his lap. T7 Angel's on low fuel, so he'll be coming in. And Snipes is on low fuel, so I don't think there's anybody that we can ride on board with. Oh, to be fair, Wavy has just done another lap, so and he has gone quicker. He's gone 3 tenths quicker on his time, but he'll be coming in now, so everybody will most likely be darting in for the pits. Yeah, so we'll continue to see this. So everybody will come out, do a lap, dart into the pits, do a lap, dart into the pits. So I would have thought everybody will most likely try and do another 2 laps. So we'll sit on board with T7 Angel. Oh no, he's going nice and slowly, so we'll ride on board with Wavy because we've got no one else to ride on board with, so we'll ride on board with the AlphaTauri. We'll go to, as we've got some dead air for now, we'll go to Mansis and see what Mansis had to say. So I asked Mansis, he come in midway through the season last year and performed really well. Do you think having a full season will mean that you can challenge for the Drivers' Championship this year? And he said personally no, because he feels like the level of driving he is nowhere near in comparison to the other drivers of the league. Maybe just does a purple sector 2. Is he going for it? Oh, and he's just invalidated. He's just invalidated. I mean, I thought that was him done, but he appeared to be going for it. He's coming into the pit. Somebody's coming out now. So who have we got? Is it Snipes going out? We've got King Cayley and we've got Snipes. They're both going out. So we've got the Ferrari Alfa Romeo. I think this is where everyone's potentially going to maybe go out, try and do a. No, actually, they are going to go out and do a lap. But I don't think they'll then have enough time. No, they won't. So everyone's going to leave it to the last minute and try and get track evolution. King Cayley's going out. Snipes is going out. So they're on an out lap at the moment. So we're right on board with them, but we don't need to pay too much attention to what they're doing. Yes, he didn't feel like his level of driving is anywhere near any of the others in the league at the moment. He's recently changed to no traction, which will give him a massive advantage when he can master it, and also manual. So he's still got a bit of time that he needs to work on the setup of the cars, the wheels, the pedals and stuff like that he's now got since joining McLaren. As King Cayley takes that wide, invalidates, but it doesn't matter because he's on an out lap, so the invalidation doesn't matter at all. But with that all being said, he hopes this season to get some good points on the board for McLaren. Then I asked him that this year you have taken up the McLaren seat alongside Bunnies, who stated that he's looking forward to partnering up with yourself. Do you think that together you can challenge for the Constructors' title? And do you think that having a teammate like Bunnies is an advantage or a disadvantage? He said that Bunnies is a top lad, a great driver, great at wheel-to-wheel battling, and probably the most fairest and cleanest driver in the league. So a lot of respect there for his new teammate. So I know being on his team will hopefully achieve some good things together this season, and we'll have some good finishes. I also know that he knows how to play the team game, so when it comes to strategy on track, I know he'll be fair. So a great deal of respect there between the two McLarens. I then said that where do you think McLaren can finish this year, and what will you consider to be your own personal goal? He said that he was aiming that for them to get third in the Constructors, as we continue to watch Cayley, who goes well wide. So we will change and we'll go on board with Snipes. Everyone now is coming out on an out lap, so what we'll do, we'll ride on board with anybody that comes across the line and we'll try and catch their times as they come. Everybody now will be doing be looking to get across and do their last lap. And the last car across the line is looking like Unless King Cayley's going to stay out. He's pulled over to one side. He's retired. Oh, he's retired. Yeah, I've just seen it up there. So it's going to be one of the AlphaTauris. It's going to be for Jacob or Wavy. Look like they're going for the old AlphaTauri tow. And I'll quickly just go through what Master said, and then we can go through to the watch the drivers as they come across, or I can then concentrate on the drivers. He said that they're hoping to aim for third in the constructors because there's some crazy talent lined up, but for his personal goal he just wants to try and win a race using no traction and manual. That would be his dream. And then my last question to him that I'll run through quickly, excuse me. First race of the season is Bahrain. What can we expect from your performance at this Grand Prix? It is a tough circuit after all. He said, yeah, Bahrain is definitely one of my worser tracks, especially turn 1 and 2. To find traction in the upshifts is so difficult without losing time or spinning. There's a few low traction zones which are difficult to nail, but I've been in time trial practicing and Grand Prix trying to practice and build some racecraft, so that hopefully that will help me. As we come to Snipes going across the line, and he goes quicker, a 1:26.1. Snipes is a phenomenally quick driver. I mean, a 1:26.1. Wow, that is a fantastic time. That to me looks like he has secured a provisional pole. You are going to have to pull out one stellar lap to catch him there. And I'm not saying that we haven't got some good drivers in this league and they can't do it, but I mean, it seems like Snipes has got this Bahrain circuit on tap. So although, having said that, Syme has just put in a purple Sector 2. So we'll sit on board with Syme, and then we've got the McLaren, then we've got the Haas, then we've got the Aston Martin, and then the 2 Alphas. So we'll try and chuck to them as Syme is going to come across, and he is going to do a 1:26.4. He gets. We've then got Bunnies coming across the line, and what can Bunnies do? Bunnies then goes 1:26.9. We've then got the Haas coming across, and the Haas does a 1:26.5. We've then got the Aston Martin, if I can catch them, doing a 1:26.2, so it takes P2. Then we've got Jacob, and we've got Wavy. Wavy comes across in 1:27.1 to keep his position, and I didn't see what happened with Jacob because it cut off. Is everybody finished? He's got P4. I can see it on his steering wheel. He's got P4. So that means Snipes secures pole position. T7 Angel takes second. Simon takes third. Jacob with fourth. Squiff's in the Haas for fifth. Bunnies in sixth in the McLaren. King Cayley seventh. Wavy eighth. Colin ninth. And that was the Joker in that 10th position. 27. Look at that. 500th of a second between Snipes and Angel. Wow. Wow. What a lap. What a lap from Snipes. He got out there early as well. He got out there early. He wouldn't have had the track evolution that everybody else had, but brilliant. Brilliant. Right, this is the bit of the Grand Prix where everyone has to sit and wait and does not ready up on the grid, otherwise they will be bloody punished. So I'll quickly run through Mo and Syme rather than was staring at the garages, because they were the last 2 drivers that I spoke to. In fact, we'll leave Mo till last because it's his home Grand Prix. We'll go with Syme quick. I also asked him 4 questions, and my question was, your season started well and finished well. It seemed as though in the middle you got caught up in too many incidents. This meant that you were third, but close to second. Are you going to change your approach this year and to try and enable you to challenge for first place? He said that he feels more consistent now and his pace seems to be better. He just needs to qualify higher up to avoid any carnage. I was very unlucky last year, and the fact that I still had a few wins and even finished third gives me confidence for this season. The level of racing has gone up massively in this league, but my race style will never change. Question 2, I said you're partnered with Colin this year. Last year you were fighting for similar positions, as in Colin and Simon were in the different seats that they had. Do you think we'll see a Hamilton-Rosberg rivalry between yourselves, or will one driver be given priority? Said that Colin is a great racer. I feel we have more opportunities to work strategy on the track, being closer to each other, but we'll show respect to each other as long as he gets along and realises that he is the second driver, with a cheeky little face that he was pulling. Question 3 was Bahrain. What can we expect from your own performance and from the Mercedes? Like many other drivers, he said it's a difficult track, especially for himself, and he expects to be in the top 5 on quali, and then he hopes for a podium in the race. I always aim to win, but it's difficult with the likes of Magic Ian, as he calls him. If we win the Constructors, it will be down to consistency. My last question put to Simon was, lastly, we saw several collisions between you and George last year. Have you guys spoken and settled these incidents, or will this cause any drama this season? He responded and said, we are all good. I can't really have any individual grudges, as I think most had a pop at me last season. So I think he was actually caught up in quite a lot of incidents himself that maybe he had caused. We are certainly not rivals or anything like that. I think that he is a fair racer. And then did the obligatory. Good luck for the race, blah blah blah. We'll finally go to Mo. Mo at his home Grand Prix of Bahrain. You are the most decorated driver, making 48 appearances at a Tier 1 level, and this is at your home Grand Prix. Do you feel the home crowd will help you out, as you have the most appearances, but you haven't got a podium in this league? He said, thanks. Yeah, his appearance numbers show that he tries and he trains and works hard to achieve podium, so hopefully he'll be able to get the podium. It will be even more special if he was to get a podium or to win his home Grand Prix. Obviously going to be difficult, being all the way down in P15 and having that head-on collision with Boogie, but not impossible. You're partnered up with a Season 1 champion, Scornful. Do you think that this will help your driving and Red Bull to challenge for the Constructors? He said, of course, an experienced driver, like Scornful, always adds up, and it will help them potentially fight for that Constructors or even the Drivers' Championship. Is there a driver or a driver pair that you think will be your main competitor? And he said every single driver and every single constructor in this year's Season 3 Tier 1 is going to be tough, but he's going to try. He thinks they're all going to be his competitors. And then I said, lastly, do you have any special words for your home crowd? And he said, I will make you proud. Enjoy the race. So some fantastic words there from Mo at his home Grand Prix. And thank you to all the drivers that took the time to respond to my messages and that took the time to have a bit of fun and just seeing if there's anything on the Discord chat, but no. And Snipes actually just said that he felt like he could have done a much better a much better time than what he did do. So great. We'll go on position change. We'll get rid of telemetry. We'll go on track man. We'll go on track man. Colin is AI at the moment, so I'm not too sure what's happening with Colin. We'll see what happens with Colin. I might have to try and invite him in, but we'll run through the grid on the formation lap. Snipes, obviously, as we saw there, took P1 with a fantastic lap and actually could have gone quicker, so he has got some serious pace in that Ferrari. He's gone from the Alpine to the Ferrari and is looking incredibly quick. We've then got T7 Angel securing P2 in the Aston Martin. The Mercedes makes up P3 and Jacob takes the second row of the grids in 4th place. Squiffs takes 5th in the Haas and Bunnies takes 6th in the McLaren. We then have an Alfa Romeo in 7th and the first of the AlphaTauris in, the second AlphaTauri in 8th, which is Wavy. Colin is currently 9th, however he's not in the game, so that means the AI will be driving for him, so we kind of need to try and get him in so that he can take over. He's going to lose so many positions on the start. Joker in the Williams takes position 10. We then have Scornful sitting in 11th, who narrowly missed out by, I think it was a hundredth of a second, I think it was. And then Magician also missed out because he invalidated his lap, so he's now 12th. Boogie tried to go out on the medium, so he has taken P13. Mats Bloom also was in the mediums and struggled, so he's at P14. We obviously saw the crash with Mo that sees him in P15. We've then got Darkstorm in 16, Smudgit in 17th, Nate, who's filling in for Kiwi, who's hasn't made it for us for this race, so he's in 18th in the Alfa Romeo, as we just see an Alfa Romeo spin of King Kaylee. That doesn't matter because it's the formation lap, so he's a lucky sod there, to be honest, because if that would have that would have been wing damage coming into P1, as he just posts on the chat, laugh out loud. We then have George in 19th and Mansis, who got disqualified for something that he's under. Didn't really know what happened to him. So yeah, Mantis in P20. So no, at the moment he hasn't put anything up. as we are looking to get this race underway. The Bahrain Grand Prix, we're starting. Buckle up, sit tight. The green means go. Away we go. Let's see who makes up position. So we've got King Kelly making up position. We've got Magician making up 2 places. We've got Mats Bloom. We see a Mercedes running out wide there. Who else have we got? We've got a couple of positions being lost by Bunnies in the McLaren. Scornful seems to have lost 6, 7, 5 positions. 6, 7, 5. Change the numbers there. The top 5 seem to get through cleanly. Yep, top 5 get through cleanly. We've got Bunnies who's lost out positions. Marcis has made up 6 positions. Colin's lost out 10, but he's racing AI, so that's probably why that is. We've got Boogie who's also made up 5 positions, and Boogie and Joker and the Williams are now fighting. We've got Squiff who we're riding on board with, fighting Jacob, coming around into turn 5, turn 6. The Ferrari's taking the lead. TSL Angel's close to him with the Mercedes this time. We've got Squiffs and we've got Jacob neck and neck. See what these cameras. Oh, it's going to be a difficult corner as they both go around. It looks like Jacob spun. Jacob's been clipped by Squiff. King Kelly then takes that position away from Jacob. Jacob is now rapidly losing positions. He comes back in. Jacob seems to have the inside line, but unfortunately the way this game works, when you're in that position like that, as you can see all those cars neck and neck going around there. Run a ball with Bunnies as Bunnies comes round. Start of sector 3. Lost out massively. 4 positions. Jacob's obviously lost out now because he's going right up the backside of Bunnies there. In McLaren we've got Squiff going slow there. So he's lost a wing. So we've missed that, but he's lost a wing. Magician making up 4 places currently. He's on a medium tyre, so he's 8th at the moment. We'll ignore that fastest lap because that is definitely going to change as we go through. Magician is following the back of Joker. Joker is on the softs. He'll push him out wide and he goes into turn 1. He brakes late, keeps it level. He's got to show him spacey. Can't take all of his space away from him. Joker's then spun. Oh, and then we've got Mats Bloom who's gone into the back of Jacob, and Jacob has now been spun out in this race twice. He's lost 11 places. Marcis has made up 11 places and now sitting in P9 with the 2 McLarens, P8, P9. Come on, McLaren. Boogie's also made up positions. Boogie is sitting in P7 at the moment. Fantastic racing from the Williams driver, formerly of AlphaTauri. Magician is now breathing down the backside of Boogie's. Magician takes that nice and wide. Boogie's actually takes that a lot slower than Magician, so that actually does slow Magician down. So he comes around that corner. Magician's going to want to try and get clear of any soft runners, if he can, on these mediums, as quick as possible. In fact, Boogie's also on the medium tyre. It's down board with Magician there as he's chasing down Boogie. Fantastic driving from all of these drivers that have managed to keep it clean. Going to take him down on the inside now as he does. He gets better exit. Boogie's tries to then fight him back, and he does, and he locks his tyre up. That was close between the rear wheels and the front wing there of Boogie's and Magician. We're right on board with Boogie's as Boogie still seems to, he's not giving up that position to Magician. He is fighting it down that back straight. Swift at the moment currently the biggest loser, as it looks like Colin now may have actually come back into the race. He's riding in P8, so he may now be back in the race. Right, we're going to try and go to the closest battles that we can see on track. So we can see that Bunnies and Marcis, the 2 McLaren drivers, are currently sitting quite close. Squiff comes into the pits. If that's the start or if that's the second time he's come into the pits now. We've also got McLaren breathing down that Mercedes. So we're right on board with Marcis as he is pushing that Mercedes around that corner, then loses traction himself and looks to have spun there where he's said himself that he has no traction. He's trying to get used to his setup changes. Nate Lewis now gets a 3-second time penalty. These 2 McLarens need to keep it nice and clean in P9 and P10. Snipes at the moment. He's got a bit of a train behind him. He's got T7 and Syme. They're both 7 tenths behind him. That seems to be the same. We're now going to have DRS. So we're right on board with T7 Angel as DRS is open, and then you've also got Syme behind him with DRS. We're right on board at the moment with P1, P2, P3. fastest lap that has been put in currently is set by Snipes for that rule change. The Haas, the Alpine, the Haas and the Williams seem to be struggling at the moment. Time is close as he just goes P1 purple in sector 1. Mo gets a 3-second time penalty for corner cutting. Maybe the first one. And we've got a spin. I think it's from the Alfa Romeo driver of Nate Mewis. He looks to have spun turn 4/turn 5. We'll see. In fact, if I can turn my volume up a little bit. Yeah. Right, who have we got? We are going to ride on board now with, we want to try and get the closest battles. In fact, we're going to, oh no, Bunnies has retired! Bunnies has retired from the session. The McLaren driver has retired. You can see the front wing of Bunnies. Let's see if we can ride on board. The car might still be there. The remnants of Bunny's car. The Joker comes round to the right. We've got a safety car. Oh, Bunnies. McLaren. Right, this is now means that everybody on the softs are going to dart into the pit. So anybody who's on the mediums, they're going to stick out. They'll get track position. Mo gets another 5-second tyre. Speed in the pit lane, Mo. Come on. Come on, Mo. Your home Grand Prix. Mo's now retired from the session. What's happened to Mo? What's happened to Mo? I can't even see where Mo is on the screen. Boogie's just retired from the session. What's happened to Boogie? I'm probably going to give you camera sickness, guys, and I do apologise, but I'm trying to go down at the drivers to see what has happened to Mo and to see what has happened to... That was Mo. So Mo was in that corner. I just saw the remnants of his car. What has happened? I'm going to check the chat. So apparently it looks as if Mo got caught in a situation with Nate Mewis, and Mo has actually held his hands up and said that he deserves a penalty. So I don't know what's happened there. Scorner's just been given a 5-second time penalty, and I believe that's from Wavy going into the back of him, or maybe King Cayley going into the back of him. So that 5-second time penalty will most likely be removed. So when we come to the finish line, oh, he's going to serve it in the pit though, isn't he? That's the problem. So we've got to keep an eye on that, because that 5-second time penalty might be taken off. So when we finish across the line, we'll have to work out that. So Boogie said, I think Boogie has gone, I think he's gone round the safety car, and then it's not giving him the option to return to the safety car. So that's then caused him to get disqualified, because Boogie's down in 20th. So Boogie's has been disqualified from the race. Scorn is coming in the pits. So Scorn is going to serve that 5-second time penalty. Darkstorm's also coming to the pits, and he's got a 5-second time penalty for speed in the pit lane. Now, like I said, we're going to keep this because Scorn is going to lose out under the safety car. So normally if someone gains and they serve their penalty under the safety car, then it gets rescinded. But I don't think that's going to be the case, because he was riding whatever position he was riding just then, 5th I think it was, and now he's down to 17th. So that 5-second time penalty still might, be taken away. So Bunnies is just saying that he messed about with the diff, and that's what caused him to spin. So he must have been either in his menu and trying to change it, or what happened was he changed it and then struggled with the traction as he's gone into the corner. So that's potentially what's happened to Bunnies. So we've currently lost 3 drivers from this race. We've lost Boogie T Slime of the Williams, we've lost the McLaren of Bunnies, and we've lost the Red Bull of Mo. And we've currently got an AI in Colin who joined the session, then left the session. He's obviously got some serious internet issues. He was winning the race. Smug Git is currently P2 and has made up 15 positions. Why have I still got that one on? Let's give it the position change now. Everyone stopped once except Squiffs and George, who've had to come in for issues. So we'll get rid of that for now. So Smug at the moment appears to be the biggest gainer out of this safety car. And he's on the medium, so he's going to stick it. He's going to stick it out. It's not said anything about the safety car coming in just yet. Everyone's warming up their tyres. Right, it does say the safety cars. Oh yeah, you can see the safety cars going on. So we'll sit on board with Snipes. It's going to be a. I would have said that Colin's going to lose out here massively because of the safety car restart. But they are going to have to wait for that AI to go, and he's going to go into the pits. The AI is going to go into the pits now. Hopefully this does not punish drivers because this might. Smug Git's been punished by Snipes because Snipes was ready and read that situation as King Cayley comes up the outside of Simon. Simon fights it. Smug Git takes a little bit of contact there with Snipes. We see it from Simon's on board. Simon gets a 3-second time penalty for cutting the corner. It looked like maybe he was just trying to avoid King Cayley. We're not sure there. Wavy and Magician have gone. They've had an incident between themselves. They've just crashed. We're not going to highlight to that, but they've had a collision between themselves. It's just been pointed out to me. We'll sit with King Cayley because they have got an epic battle. The Smug is still in P1 as he fought off Snipes there. King Cayley managed to make that move stick on Syme and takes P3. We've had a coming together between Magician and Wavy. Colin coming to the pits, but that was his AI, not himself coming in. All them cars so close. Syme there looking to try and make a move on King Cayley. Try to get out of the slipstream. T7 Angels close behind him. Snipes. Martinsis has just been overtaken there by Mats Bloom. Going to keep it down this back straight. DRS is not going to come into play, but we are going to get a tow. So is Smug going to be able to hold on to P1, or is Snipes going to take that from him? He gets such a good exit out of there, does Snipes in comparison to Smug. And it looks like he's made that move stick. They're fighting. They're not letting this go as we go into turn 1, round then into turn 2 / turn 3. So we then come to the right hander there, and it looks like Snipes has got that move made. We've lost Mats Bloom. Mats Bloom has spun, gone into the wall, so he is now. Magician comes into the pits. Magician is switching. Oh, he's had to have a new wing. He's had to have a new wing, and so has Wavy. Both drivers have changed their wing. Smug Git gets a 3-second time penalty there. Got a bit flustered, I think, coming into those medium speed corners. Oh, and it looks like Smug's now just been taken by. Smug has just been taken by King Cayley. Wavy's had to retire from the session. Not sure why he's retired there. We've got Syme now breathing down the backside of his last year's teammate at Aston Martin. You've got an Aston Martin, a Mercedes, an Aston Martin. Then the AlphaTauri sitting behind him as Syme looks to make that move on Smug. We've got their neck and neck as we go into turn 14 and turn 15. He dives up the inside. Smug keeps it wide, and he's gonna keep that. Oh, and it looks like the Aston Martin T7 Angel has just gone. The Aston Martin T7 Angel, he got on the throttle, and that's caused him to spin. He has lost that position. Smug with some great driving there, keeps that position, keeps P3. Simon brakes late, cuts back with a great little cut back there, and he's gonna probably get a warning for that, but he keeps P3, or he takes P3, sorry. Jacob then also sneaks in, was ready to pounce. Marnsis also there, up in 6th position, is now chasing Smug, and Smug has lost out 3 positions in the space of a lap. Marnsis chasing down that Aston Martin. Snipes in the lead. King Cayley 1.7 seconds behind. Simon's then a second behind Kincaid. Jacob is 0.5 seconds, 5 tenths behind. Smug is then 6 tenths behind. Then we've got Mansis who's 4 tenths behind. Snipes looks like he has got the pace for this race. It doesn't matter what it's thrown at him. It looks like he is going to take. He is going to take this race victory. He looks so quick. Sit on board with Mansis. This is the closest battle currently on track. It looks like Darkstorm is also chasing down Scorn for P10 at the moment. We'll give that some time. Some viewing time in a minute. Jacob breathing down Syme. Coming at Syme. Stay on board with Mansis because it looks like he's going to take Smug here. Down with using DRS. Mansis gets that position done. Jacob and Syme fighting now for P3 for the last podium position. So all drivers are on the medium tyre following that. Some of these, so we must remember, some of these tyres are going to be Kincaid there fighting with Simon. Looks like that got a little bit, I think Kincaid there got a bit too touchy with that one. It looks like he forced Simon out wide on lap 10. There goes fastest on the softs with 1:28.9. That again, that time will change as the fuel goes down. Mo's now left the session. Unfortunately, the Bahrain Grand Prix, unfortunately, was not his day. It isn't a circuit that he favours, to be honest. Even though it is his home Grand Prix, it is a. We'll talk about his performance in Tier 2 in a second. But at the moment, we've got some close battles on track. Some really close battles. At the moment, we've got Colin, who's AI. We've got Matt's Bloom and Magician, who are massively losing out because of that collision that he had with Wavy. And Matt's Bloom seemed to take a spin. I'm not sure if he got caught up in anything. Jacob was very, very close there to touching the gearbox of Syme. And it looks like Syme is now going to make this move on Kincaid. Kincaid tries to defend, but then Syme goes down the inside. And it looks like, but then Kincaid tries to fight back. Oh, that looks like that was a lost cause, but then he jumped for the chance. And that was some brilliant driving from all three drivers. And Jacob now looks to try and pounce on the fact that them two are slowing each other down. Mansis is also getting close, who's then got Squiffs and Smudgit riding behind him. Squiffs is now he's fighting Mansis. He took that position, then Mansis took it back. They got close, both of those wheels touched there. They both go into that. Turn 7. Squiffs is staying ahead, I think. Looks like these drivers have got some serious pace. Smug, Mansis and Squiff all look like they're quick with this track, and I think what's helping them is that Syme, Kincaid and Jacob slowing each other down, so that means that they're not actually losing out massively to the battle ahead. You've got Snipes in clean air, then you've got 3 cars fighting for P2, then you've got 3 cars fighting for P5. This just means that these little trains that we've got are slowing themselves all down so that everyone else can then catch up with them. So actually this is working really well for Magician. Squiffs and Mansis get awfully close there. Mansis takes that position. Squiffs, they look like they were very close to being spun out. Squiffs now gets a 3-second time penalty for running wide in that corner. We're now going to go down to Jacob. See that Jay's too far. We've watched Kincaid, who's quite far back, but he looks like he's going to go for a dive up the inside. As he does, we'll see what Syme can do. Does Syme fight it? Oh yeah, he's had to back out there. You can see he went to turn in, but because Kincaid positioned his car in the way that he did, it meant that Syme had to then pull out of that. But Syme will have DRS going down this first DRS zone. And Jacob is also breathing down the backside of them. We see Simon, Kincaid, not for the first time coming together in this race, and also not for the first time since they've been racing together. Kincaid has had regular battles with Simon in the last 2 or 3 Grand Prix. I think it's the last 2 Grand Prix. Canada and China, they come together a couple of times. So these two have raced each other often. It's some great battling. We've got T7 Angel also, who's getting very close now to Scorn. We might have to ride on board with that one. We've got these 3 drivers at the moment that we're sticking with. Looks like T7 Angel might actually make this move now down the back straight in the second DRS zone on Scorn. Oh, I don't know if it's going to be long enough. No, it's not going to be long enough. So Simon is still trailing, but he's trailing because he's done that on purpose so that he can get DRS coming down the pit straight. If he takes that nice and cleanly, which he does, he'll get him now with DRS. We've got Jacob riding behind him. So we've got King Cayley, Simon, Jacob there in that battle. All three cars, we caught that. All three cars passing him. Jacob makes that epic move, but then Simon fights it back. He's not giving that up. Jacob's got track position. Runnable with King Cayley now because then he can watch. So King Cayley's lost out a couple of positions there. Oh, as he touches the curb, King Cayley spun. Does he catch it? Looks like he's caught it, but Mars is now going to come up. And Squiffs also takes that position. So King Cayley has now just spun and lost out. Lost that position out. One. Joker was also taking King Cayley. T7 Angel's taking King Cayley. George is taking King Cayley. Joker now up into P7 following that awful start that he had in this race. The only driver left for the Williams. Wavy has apologised for the incident with Magician. It feels like right, what we got? So we're running ball. In fact, we'll come away from Simon and Jacob at the moment because they're losing time. So our closest battle at the moment is King Cayley to George. King Cayley's breathing down. And you've also got Red Bull Scorn as well behind that. It's going to be a little DRS train there. Oh, Scorn looked like he pulled off there, pulled off the throttle. So three cars into this corner. And Scorn loses out. But he's kept track position. SRS Darksong gets a 3-second time penalty. We just watched that. So now Scorn's chasing down George. Don't think he's going to make this move stick. He's too far back to try a dive bomb up the inside there without it being unsafe. And Scorn is not an unsafe driver. He's a very clean driver in this league. We've got Squiffs very close to Simon, so potentially we'll switch back to that in a second. As we just watched Scorn, who's on the hard tyre. Only just noticed that. So he might be looking to see these through to the end. Bahrain, another circuit that's quite a high deg for the tyres. Comes into the second DRS zone, which is a small DRS zone. All this does is bring you close for the high speed. Left, right section. Following George. Three times. You can see the wing there still of Bunny's Marshals. Haven't done a very good job there. T7 seems to have had another little incident. That now puts George passing Angel and Scorn now up into 10th. Don't know if he's lost a wing. I think he's lost his wing, so that means T7 Angel's going to come into the pit. So he must have had a collision. Yeah, he did. So he's lost his wing. Scorn takes George using DRS. Quickly go on board with Simon because Simon's lost out to Squiff. So Simon's now sitting in P4. That must have been the DRS zone there that got Squiff's down either the pit straight or down the first DRS zone. This is a great driving from the front floor. Although Snipes now 4 seconds ahead. Jacob 1.5 seconds ahead of third place. Looks like Snipes, this is Snipes' track. The pace he has in this circuit is unreal. Looks like they're actually coming up to lapping a couple of cars. So yeah, Colin of the Mercedes AI. That's unfortunate that Colin is disconnected in this race. Again, Bahrain not one of his best circuits, but what that would have done is allowed Simon to be, as Simon gets a 3-second time penalty, that would have allowed him to be challenging and be helping his teammate out as well. So one thing, if you can have your second constructor's car up there, that helps you out massively. Had a little snigger there from Joker. I don't know what happened there. Kincaid looks like he's retired. Kincaid has retired from the session at turn 13. Unlucky for some. I don't know if he's chosen to retire. It looks like he might have chosen to retire. His car is coming back as we see Simon Squiffs there fighting into turn 1, turn 2 and turn 3. Great respect from both of them there. And Squiffs now gets DRS as well. Stay on board with this battle because it's still the posters. We've got Mats Bloom who's just done T7 Angel. Oh no, they've just overtaken Kincaid. That's what that is. Kincaid's decided to leave the session. So we've got Joker who's chasing down Smug at the moment. 1.3 behind Smug. You've got Mansis who's closing in on Simon now. This battle with Simon Squiffs is slowing them down so that Mansis is now caught the back of this battle. T7 Angel looks to have taken Mats Bloom. T7 Angel, another quick driver, he was P2. Now down in P12, got caught up in 2 incidents. He looks like he's struggling for traction as well. He's lost the car twice. He's quite a way behind the leaders as well of this race. Mats Bloom is breathing down the neck of T7 Angel. He's had to back out now. So 0.3. 3 tenths going down here. He's going to have DRS. This move surely is going to be made down the pit straight now. He's going to, and then it's also going to give Mansis the ability to come into play and potentially make him challenge Squiffs coming into turn 2 and turn 3 as well. But Squiffs doesn't give it up, and they touch the wheel to wheel again. People don't like backing out to Simon, do they? They keep it going. He's going to have DRS again coming down this straight, and he takes that corner so well. That is a brilliant move, but he has to tuck in behind because Squiffs gets DRS. The exit that he got out of that corner was brilliant. As Mansis gets a bit squirrely there, turn 4. See Jacob come around the corner, 3.5 seconds ahead. Then you've got the Haas of Squiff, Simon in 4th for the Mercedes, and McLaren in 5th. It's a little battle for that last podium position. P1 and P2 at the moment seem to be walking away with it. The only thing that's going to close this up is a safety car, but we don't want a safety car. There's no need for a safety car. This race is good enough without. We then have Joker in P6 currently. We have Scorn in P7, George in P8, Darkstorm in P9, Magician in P10, and Smug in P11. So Smug has come into the pits to change the tyres. That's why he's lost position, because he was in 6th. So he's changed his tyres, so he might be going to the end now on his tyres. In fact, what we will quickly do is we will now go and have a look at the tyres and what laps are on. Okay, so a lot of people will be coming in for tyres shortly. We've got Squiffs on lap 13. It's incredible that he's on lap 13 tyres and he's able to fight Simon, who's on 2 lap newer tyres than he is. You've got Scorn who's on lap 10 hards. He might be looking to see them all the way to the end. Smug's on the softs. He's going to try and see them all the way to the end of the race, I would have thought. So tyre strategy is going to be massive now, because I would have thought the undercut is probably going to be quicker on this circuit. So whoever comes in first, I don't know if it's going to be one of them where Simon will react and do what Squiffs does, or whether he'll react and try and do the opposite. Sometimes it's better to be the car behind because you can do the opposite to whatever the car does in front. To be honest, if he's going to go on the soft, Simon, I would have thought he's going to do a couple more laps on these. I would have thought he'd want to do at least a minimum of 10 laps. As Mansis is so close, he's almost pushing Simon around those corners. That turn 9 and turn 10 is so difficult, because if you get better entry than other people, just means that you are breathing down their neck. There's nothing you can do about it because they have got track position. Magician down in P10, though it looks like he's catching Darkstorm, so he'll probably take that position, I would have thought. He's just in the second DRS zone now, so he's probably going to take that position off of him. Snipes gets a 5-second. So Snipes comes into the pits. Snipes is in the pits, so Jacob takes the lead, and Snipes gets a 5-second time penalty for speeding. As we see Squiffs coming to the pits, we see Mantis coming to the pits, and they all get a 5-second time penalty. Everyone seems to be getting 5-second time penalties. What is going on? So Jacob provisionally takes the lead of this Grand Prix. Simon is now in second. We've got a sector 2 of someone who looks like they've spun out. I don't know. Is that Magician? I don't know if they've crashed. It's not Magician, it's... The car of Nate seems like his wheels are spinning, but it doesn't seem like he can move anywhere. And he's just been... Oh, okay, so that would just be... That's the game's gone funny there, because he's now rejoined the track. I was going to say, it looked like maybe he was forced on safety car, but I don't want to give him... don't want to make him seem like he was doing something he wasn't doing, so I do apologise for that. No, it was just the game had gone funny. I hadn't recognised you'd rejoined the track. So we got Mansis in P7. He's coming for the softs. Looks like Squiff has then gone back out for another set of mediums. So I don't know if he must have started on softs. Yes, he has. He started on softs and then he's got a second pair of mediums on. So everybody now that's pitted will be looking to see these tyres through to the end of the Grand Prix. So Mansis might have played this well with these softs. He might have played this well. The softs are going to be the better tyre if he can make them last. They're the quicker tyre. So we'll see what he can do. See what he can do on these tyres. We've got Joker in P10, who's again sat behind Smug. So he's going to be looking to take that position. But he's 4.5 seconds behind Smug at the moment, and then he's got another Aston Martin behind him. Mansis now goes into. Oh, is he? Oh, no, he's done that perfectly. I think. Oh, he's been touched. He's been touched. I think he manages to catch it. He's going to have lost out there massively because he's going to have DRS, so he will catch up, but he would have caught him there, I think. He would have caught him there. I think maybe he just got a little bit too early with that one. And the undercut has put Squiff's... Oh no, Simon gets touched. Simon gets touched by Mansis. In turn 1, turn 2, that gets him spun, but the undercut, and then Smug. Simon's old teammate takes him as well. So Simon has lost out massively by coming into the pits. The undercut on Bahrain is the way to go, as I learned out in Tier 2. Found out the hard way. Simon there has lost out massively, and then Mansis, I don't think Mansis actually does anything wrong. Mansis has got track position. Mansis was also fighting Squiffs, so Mansis for me doesn't do anything wrong. As much as I hate to say it. So Mansis now chasing down Squiffs. 5 temps behind him. 9 laps of this Bahrain Grand Prix to go. We'll double check the tyres again in a minute and see. It should be that everybody's on what they're on. Smug and Simon, previous teammates for last year, fighting as Simon has to take that really wide there. He's probably been given a warning for that one. He's going to be... Oh, he doesn't want to lose it. Don't overtake him. He's going to overtake him here. He's going to give Smug DRS. He's going to give Smug DRS, and then going down this pit straight, Smug's going to have DRS and be able to fight him back. As you can see, his DRS flap is wide open. He's going to have DRS going into turn 1. Then Smug takes the position back. I think Simon there was driving maybe a bit silly, wasn't thinking. As Magician temporarily takes fastest lap with 128.1. Again, coming into the last laps of this race, I think that will change. Simon then makes the move. Oh, I thought then he'd maybe clipped Smug, and Smug had gone out for the second race in a row for him. But nope, Simon's made that position stick. Looks like that's probably it now. Simon's probably going to then go and chase down Mansis. Unfortunately for Simon, he has lost out 4 seconds, being stuck behind Smug, and in that incident. So that has cost his Grand Prix. A podium for him now is looking... It's looking like he's got to produce some stellar pace. But Scorner's in P3 on these hards. That it looks like he is going to try and see out through to the end of the race. So if he can manage that when he's got these 3 cars catching up to him, then fair play. But I think for Scorn, it's going to be a case of trying to get as many points on the board as possible. I don't think a podium is going to be where he's at. I think his race strategy's gone a different way. But again, don't forget that 5-second time penalty that he's got. That might come off. So we'll see what happens there. Joker then takes a 3-second time penalty. Squiffs and Mansis both going to have DRS now. So they're probably both going to look to challenge. They're probably both going to look to challenge Scorn down this. Goes on the inside. Does he make it stick? Looks to have made it stick, and then Mansis comes in. He pounces. He pounces on Scorn running wide and having to fight Squiff. That was brilliant driving there from the McLaren driver. Unfortunately, Scorn on his hard tyres that are probably, I think they're around maybe 18 laps old, I think they are. Fortunately for him, that's probably going to... He's not going to be able to challenge them. You've got Mantis on fresh softs, you've got Squiff on the mediums, and Squiff's pace on these mediums is brilliant, absolutely brilliant. He's able to keep Mantis behind him, and Mantis on the quicker tyre. They're both on the same laps tyre because they both come in the pits at the same time. They managed to get the undercut on Syme, which is why Syme's now down in P6. He's 1.9 behind Scorn. This time you can see him just in the back of the grid there. He's managed to bypass Smug, and it doesn't look like Smug's going to challenge him. Snipes is just ahead of this Grand Prix, and it looks like he's Hamiltoned it. He looks like he is ahead. This is his race. Jacob then looks to have secured P2 unless he spins himself, and then P3 is very much on the table. You've got Mancis, Squiff. I mean, I'm going to rule Scorn out, and you still could say that Syme could catch. We've got 6 laps of this Grand Prix left. Magician down in P9. He's now looking to try and catch Joker. So T7 Angel. To be fair, we might go to that in a minute as well. T7 Angel seems to be fighting Joker. So, sorry, he's fighting Magician. T7 Angel now just coming down the pit straight. He'll have DRS. Can't really skip too much away from this battle at the moment because this battle is for the last podium position. So P1 and P2 look quite happy. They look like they're catching up on Mercedes of Colin. And then T7 Angel's just lost out massively there to Magician. Magician seems to have pulled a second away from him there. So yes, we've got Syme. Syme is looking to chase down Scorn. He's going to have DRS down the back straight here, the old pit straight. Scorn will probably give that away to him. He knows that he's not racing him with his hard tyres. He doesn't want to wear his hard tyres away any more than he really needs to. So he's sort of given him. He's made it hard for him, but he has given it. So he's now going to be potentially fighting Smug. And if Joker can put some good laps in, he's going to be challenging Scorn as well. So you've got potentially Scorn and Smug available for Joker. Magician has, in 2 laps, made 2 seconds up on Joker, and he's also got T7 Angel. So it looks like Joker might get some points here, might get P10. Darkstorm's looking P12 with some penalties there as well. It looks like he's... And then Matt's Bloom, Nate, and again, obviously what's happened to Colin, he's very unfortunate. I think those positions are what they are. So it's who takes what position in the top 10 by the looks of it. Everyone else looks to have got the positions that they've got. Well, just quickly, Oh no, I've been talking for God knows how long, and I've had my mic on mute. I've had my mic on mute all this time. Oh my God. What an absolute shambles. I was talking to you, Joker, as well, and I wonder why you weren't responding. Oh, for fuck's sake. That's an absolute joke. Because Victoria come back, so I just was quickly talking to her as she just come back. I switched it and I went to switch it back off, but obviously what I've done, when I've switched it back on, I've not touched it clearly. I've literally just had Colin just say, you there? And I don't know when that was when he put that, but, oh, that's annoying. I felt like I was giving good commentary there as well, which you've all just missed out on, so never mind. Never mind. Anyway, we caught some bloody good racing there, so yeah, unfortunately, we haven't done me. As we go to Jacob, because Jacob is now looking like he's going to catch Snipes as we come down to the last lap. We are going to stick with Jacob. We've got P1 and we've got P2. We're fighting for. You now can finally hear me, as I've just spent the last 20 laps through mute. Is he going to get him? Jacob coming down to turn 4. He's on the soft tyre. Snipes is on the medium. Snipes look to have this race secured, and Jacob has just come through and is squeaky bumped out time now for Snipes. Jacob's got nothing to lose. This race was Snipes, so Snipes has now got everything to lose. Jacob can just go for this. I wondered, Matt, while I was speaking to you, you wasn't responding to me, and I thought, oh, do you know what, it's because you're concentrating, that's why you're not responding. Keep it going, Matt. You're P8. Potentially P7 if you can take him. Maybe even more, actually, because you've got a slow smug git holding everybody up. We've got Jacob and Snipes. We are going in to the last straight. We have got 2 more corners, turn 14 and turn 15. Jacob is right up the backside as he looks to make that move. He dives down the inside. Is he going to make that move? Can we see it? He doesn't. Oh, he's not going to make it stick, but is he going to have a better exit and then he's going to have DRS? I don't think there's enough. I think Snipes has done that. I think Snipes is going to do it. It's going to be close. Oh! Snipes collides there. And Jacob takes it. Must have been penalties. Jacob takes it. Let's quickly check the penalties on. What have we got here for penalties? So it looks like Martis is going to take P3. Martis takes P3. Magician looks like he's going to take P5. Smug Kit is going to take P6. Joker's going to take P8. T7 Angel comes across to take P9. We're going to have George take P10. Remember that Scorn did serve a 5-second time penalty. Now, if he has that taken off, that could see him take P4. Or maybe P5. I'm not sure. Will he take P4? 2 seconds behind that. 2 seconds behind that. That's 2.4 seconds. I think, but he might take Magician's position away from him. He might not take Symes. Oh no, he will. He'll potentially take Symes' position away from him. So we'll see. We'll see what happens there. All I can say to anybody that's watching, I apologise. I was talking throughout about 75% of this race, and I had my mic on mute. I've got the old Xbox mic where when you press the button it doesn't always respond to it. So I'm hoping that I caught the best battles, but unfortunately you didn't have my commentary to go with, which to be fair you're probably happy with anyway. So anybody that's watching that's not in our league, please could you cast your votes in the chat for driver of the day. We won't take the driver of the day that's on the screen. We will take anything that you put on there, or we'll have a vote ourselves in the admin chat. But yeah, please, if you could just chuck it in there yourselves. When this is done, I've got a little grid here that I will put in for the constructors, so we can see who is leading the constructors championship. So who got pole position? Pole position was taken by Snipes. We'll see who got fastest lap. Some epic racing there from Simon, from Mansis, from Swifts, from Snipes, from Jacob. That is phenomenal. Fastest lap went to Magician, of course it did. Magician, you made that up there. So Magician, we've got in P5. We have then got Snipes, who takes P2. We have then got Bunnies, who we won't worry about because Bunnies didn't finish. Mansis then takes P3. We've got Smug-Git, who takes P7. And I'm just going down the order, that's why it's a bit squiffy. P9, we've got Jacob, who takes P1. And because people have pressed start, that's a bit of a pain in the backside. Try and see who we've got. George takes P10, so he'll get points. Squiff didn't get any points. Darkstorm didn't get any points. Joker, you got P8. Boogie didn't get any points. Simon got P4. I think that's everybody who scored points. Oh, and then Scornful got P6. Okay, so let's see where that puts the constructors. So that puts Ferrari P1 in the constructors with 29 points. That then sees AlphaTauri with 25 points in second place. We then have the McLaren with 15 points in third place. Mercedes with 12 points in fourth place. We then have the Aston Martin and Red Bull both drawing for 5th and 6th on 8 points. We then have the Williams with 4 points thanks to Joker. We then have Alpine on 1 point, and then the two teams to not score any points are Haas and our Alfa Romeo. Now, like I said, the one thing, this might change because we might have Scorn might have his 5 points that he served under the safety car. That wasn't really very fair because he was riding in 6th position. He come into the pits and then he then ended up losing those. Coming to the pits, served that 5-second time and then put him at the back of the grid. So that might mean that Scorn actually takes potentially P3. I think it would have been. Was it P3 that Simon got, or was it P4 that Simon got? I've taken it away now, so I don't know. But yeah, so potentially we'll see. We'll see what happens. But yeah, like I said, unfortunately, I do apologise. I was talking throughout that. Unfortunately, I proxy had my mic muted, so you had some silent racing instead of me talking shit at you. To be fair, the racing was fantastic, so it didn't need me to say anything anyway. I hope you all enjoyed that. That was the first race of Bahrain, which has been won by Jacob. Epic racing there from Jacob and Snipes, and also from Simon, who looked dead and buried and then pulled back. An amazing race. Unfortunately, we lost a few drivers along the way. We had some retirements that maybe were considered unnecessary, but it's racing, so sometimes drivers do come together. We will be at Spain for the next race. Monday is our Tier 2 race, so please tune in for Tier 2. We then have Thursdays for Tier 1, so tune in for that. We will both be racing Spain. We run it alternatively, we run it so that whatever we race in Tier 2, we race in Tier 1. So Spain is our next Grand Prix, where who knows what can happen. Magician didn't win. We had Jacob, we had Snipes, we had Simon, we had Mansis, all fighting for those positions. This season is going to be an amazing season. Every driver can get podiums. Every driver can fight for this constructor. So come back next week, same time, 8 o'clock, Monday night for Tier 2 and Thursday night for Tier 1. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed, and I look forward to seeing you next week. Fantastic. See you later, and see you next week. Bye-bye.